Spider-Man, Webhead, or the Webbed Wonder, as some people call him, is the protagonist of Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, which today I'm going to 100% and unlock all Steam achievements. Currently, I have 18 out of the 78 total achievements, which I unlocked over a year ago. To unlock the rest, I will need to play through the story twice, so let's begin. The main objective of the first playthrough is to complete the main story. The first obstacle on our way, though, is rent, which, like any well-put-together adult, Peter chooses to ignore. While gallivanting around the city, Spider-Man learns that the local mob boss is throwing a temper tantrum after being caught for being a mob boss. Yuri Watanabe, the local police captain, calls in Spider-Man to help capture Fisk, because apparently the NYPD is that incompetent that a swinging spectacle has to do their job for them. After climbing through the Donkey Kong level that was Fisk's tower, Spider-Man saves some people, stops Fisk's men from deleting his search history, and eventually defeats the oversized mob boss.
So, should we kiss now? Yeah, maybe later.
Peter's boss then calls him, asking why he's late to work. Again, as they have a presentation for the grant committee they must prepare for. His boss, Otto Octavius, is testing a prototype prosthetic, which he hopes will revolutionize the world. Absolutely nothing goes wrong with the test, and the grant committee is pleased.
Is anyone hurt?
Peter even gets the rest of the day off because of this positive development. And nothing else. Yuri later informs Spider-Man that Fisk has been taken to the maximum security prison, the Raft, which no one can break out of, and the many enemies of Spider-Man are imprisoned at. While Spider-Man is traversing the city, beating people up, collecting shiny things, and stopping car accidents, he hears from Aunt May's boss and good friend, Martin Lee, who reminds him about the surprise party for Aunt May. At the Feast homeless shelter, Martin needs Peter to stall May, so they have time to get the decorations up, allowing Peter to display his uncanny and superb skills of deception.
Make some beautiful baby.
After the party, Peter and Martin spend some time bonding, but crime doesn't rest, so Peter has to leave and return to his other job. During the party, the ever-needy Yuri left Spider-Man a voicemail, asking him to, quietly, break into the auction house holding the Fisk estate sale. Because, you know, why spend the police when you can send a spider-themed superhero? He finds a woman being held hostage and men demanding to know where the file is. She tells the men she doesn't know, and that there is another person in the building who might have the file. After bonking a few heads against the rafters and leaving Christmas ornaments everywhere, he runs into the ever-fabulous Mary Jane Watson, who lied through her teeth to uncover the secrets that the police officers had missed. She ended up finding the statue that hid the file. With the file found, Spider-Man must clear a way out of the auction house, quietly, like the good captain asked him to. But of course, MJ gets caught and the masked men make it away with the file. However, Spider-Man is able to take one of their masks before the police arrive. Peter then asks MJ out to mix for dinner to discuss what happened. After one extremely awkward dinner with his now ex, Peter gets called away by a crime in progress, leaving MJ to foot the bill, like the degenerate he is. The police cars that pulled Peter away from paying for his food were chasing Shocker. Spider-Man catches Shocker while being super chatty and pissing him off even more. After a quick call from MJ, Spider-Man returns to Feast to get the opinion of Martin Lee about the mask he took from the auction house. When Martin saw the mask, he was shook and suggested MJ drop the story, which she obviously refused. Soon after, Spider-Man gets a call from his boss, because he totally didn't forget that he worked today.
I totally forgot.
When he gets to the lab, Otto is testing a prosthetic on a military vet who lost his arm. All is going really well, until Norman Osborn shows up, and his men start confiscating everything. He has the volunteer escorted to Oscorp, pisses off Otto, and even tries to poach Peter. Norman even pulls the grant money from Otto, meaning he can't pay Peter, so he had to fire him. Back on patrol, Spider-Man gets a call from Yuri, and she informs him that Shocker escaped. Spider-Man ends up tracking Shocker to a bank, and begins to annoy him, like the professional he is. After dropping a chandelier on Shocker, the police come in and arrest him. Otto later calls and tells Peter he's not fired and might be able to work something out. While beating up some demons, Yuri calls with news that the demons are going after Fisk shipyards. So, she sends police officer Jefferson Davis to a shipyard that hasn't been hit yet. After beating up some of Fisk's men, breaking into the shipyard legally, finding a weapons vault, and beating up some demons, Spider-Man ends up chasing after a truck that tried to flee. A few rockets later, he catches up to the truck and hit another truck that almost got hit by a train. Officer Davis comes in with the truly superhero save, and the final demon has been captured. After non-stop crime fighting, Peter is quite tired, so he decides to head home. That's when he sees the consequences of not paying his rent. He got evicted. After breaking the door down to his former apartment and realizing he's lost pretty much everything, he goes to track down something that was thrown out. With that out of the way, Peter needs to figure out where he's going to sleep. He ultimately decides to head to Feast and sleep on the couch in Aunt May's office. When Peter wakes up, he sees some money Aunt May left him. He's hesitant to take it, but Aunt May scolds him for being too prideful. As Peter is leaving, MJ calls him and tells him that Officer Davis will be receiving an award today at the Osborn campaign rally. Because of course Osborn would. Fucking bureaucrats. Before the rally, Officer Davis calls Spider-Man to check on the Fisk construction site. When Spider-Man gets there, he finds it teeming with Fisk's men and demons. On the roof, Spider-Man finds a helicopter, and in his attempt to stop it from taking off, he creates a mobile wrecking ball that knocks over an entire fucking crane. He pins the crane to several buildings, causing millions, maybe billions of dollars worth of property damage. Spider-Man eventually catches up to the helicopter, while being chatty as ever.
Hi! Is this the flight to Newark?
He takes down the helicopter, pinning the tail rotor to a building, scaring some civilians, and causing even more property damage. He then ends this joyride with one hell of a superhero landing. At the rally, we are greeted with a speech from some random guy, Mayor Osborn, and finally Officer Davis. While they're talking, Peter tries to get invited to MJ's place for dinner, which seems to be going well. Then, Peter's spider sense goes crazy as we get a glimpse of Martin Lee and a couple other people exploding. This causing the most horrific event to happen in New York City since Spider-Man knocked over the crane, like 5 minutes ago. Peter gets knocked out from the explosion, and Officer Davis' son, Miles Morales, gets severely traumatized.
Dad! Dad!
1 week later, after Officer Davis' funeral, Peter tries to talk with Miles, who is doing way better than I would have expected, but Miles isn't ready to talk and pushes Peter away. Because Peter saw Martin, he is convinced that Martin is the leader of the demons, but Yuri doesn't fully believe him as he doesn't have any evidence to prove it. While I was in Harlem, I took a detour and went to Uncle Ben's grave and paid my respects, unlocking the first new achievement of the run. MJ has been doing some research and found a recycling center that Martin has a controlling interest in, which might lead to his whereabouts. At the recycling center, Spider-Man finds it teeming with demons, guns, explosives, and schematics for truck bombs. He even uncovers who their target is, which, unsurprisingly, is Norman Osborn. Spider-Man tracks down another demon's staging location and takes out way too many demons, until he's interrupted by Silver Sablanova, leader of the private army Silver Sable International. The mayor ended up hiring them for protection, but even with all the evidence that was found at the two sites, nothing leads back to Martin. So, Spider-Man heads to Feast to find something that might directly lead to him. At Feast, Peter suggests that Aunt May should call Rio Morales, Miles Morales' mother, and offer Miles a job at the shelter. Peter then sneaks into Martin's office, shuffles through his things, soon discovering a hidden room with the file, codenamed Devil's Breath, and a tape recording telling the story of Martin Lee's struggle with his dark side. As Peter's leaving, he runs into Martin, who leaves a warning for Peter, and heads on his way. As he's driving off, homeless men attack Peter, seemingly corrupted by Martin, hinting that Martin knows Peter is Spider-Man. A quick call later, Spider-Man tells Yuri to search Martin's office at the Feast for the evidence that she needs to arrest him. Peter then calls MJ and she invites him over to her place for dinner to discuss the new information he's gathered. Otto then calls and tells Peter that he needs to come to the office immediately. When Peter gets to the lab, the pair is testing a new arm that Otto made, and it goes really well. Not so well that it works, but well enough. Peter fixes the problems, and the second test goes off without a hitch. Then, Peter leaves to go have dinner with his ex. At MJ's house, she tells Peter that she broke into Tombstone's shop, because obviously. After finding some GPS trackers and schematics for large vehicles that were being built, she escapes with none the wiser. The two decide to team up when Peter's phone alerts him to a break-in. He changes into his spider suit way too fast and leaves his clothes in MJ's kitchen floor. She calls him out, and he acts like a total dork.
Where do you want me to,
The couch is fine.
See you later?
Yeah.
While making his way to the break-in, the two discuss whose house Spider-Man's going to. Charles Standish, the CFO of Oscorp, who might be connected to Devil's Breath. Inside the building, Spider-Man has to deal with elevators crashing down on him with way too many fucking people and a goddamn helicopter. Spider-Man and Charles get thrown into an elevator shaft by an explosion, but Spider-Man saves the day. Before he was taken by Sable, Charles gave Spider-Man a name, Dr. Isaac Delaney, who was working on the Devil's Breath project, and MJ ended up narrowing it down to 3 people that could be the Doctor. Spider-Man then narrowed it down to 1 person. But before he gets to the Doctor, some demons walked away with him, while an abnormally large college student wanted to fight for some reason. Spider-Man wraps up this Rhino impersonator and heads towards the Doctor. Unfortunately, Martin corrupts the Doctor before Spider-Man gets to him and makes him divulge the name of another scientist, Dr. Morgan Michaels, who he was working with. While Martin is leaving, he starts corrupting several partygoers. He even gets the guy dressed as the Rhino. Spider-Man then knocks him out gently, then tells Yuri who she needs to find and protect. But Sable already has him, and won't tell Yuri where he is. Although, Spider-Man has an idea how he might be able to find him. His idea? Break into the mayor's office. You'd think that would be hard, right? But not for Spider-Man. Inside, Norman is talking to Fisk about Devil's Breath, allowing Spider-Man to look through Norman's computer and learn more about Devil's Breath. And Dr. Michaels. When Spider-Man leaves the mayor's office, he calls MJ and learns she's trying to break into a Sable compound to find Charles Standish and uncover the location of Dr. Michaels. She sneaks into the compound with surprising ease and learned where Dr. Michaels is being held and where he's going to be moved to. But Spider-Man interrupts and knocks Charles out before she can get any more information out of him. MJ is understandably upset and argues with Peter, but still gives him some information that she learned. Soon after, the Taskmaster challenges become available, and I get my hands on 2 more achievements. While beating up some demons on patrol, Otto calls about the test that Peter completely forgot. When he gets to the lab, Otto is preparing for a test, and Peter has to play some mobile games on his iPad. With the adjustments made, the test can begin. Otto shows the impressive feats of their invention, and amazing capabilities of his mind. Peter notices that something is wrong with Otto. He couldn't hide it anymore, so he explains that he's turning into Stephen Hawking's. Peter needs to leave so he can meet Miles on his first day at the shelter. On his way to the shelter, he stops some muggers from attacking Miles, and after some self-defense tips, the two go on their way. Miles then makes his way to the feast with minimal difficulty. When he gets there, Peter greets him and suggests Miles should refill some coffee and get comfortable with the place. That's when Miles runs into the absolute worst human being in New York City, Ernie, who, after Miles fixes the TV for him, he talks shit about Miles' dead dad right in front of him. Peter comes in and mentions that Miles is Jefferson Davis' son, and Ernie seems apologetic for being an asshole. But that Peter introduces Miles to Aunt May, and he has to split for his other job. Sable begins to moving Dr. Michaels when, surprise, surprise, the demons appear with a tank. After taking the Sablemen down with ease, Dr. Michaels and the Devil's Breath has been taken by the demons. Tons of property damage later, Spider-Man catches up and Martin attempts to corrupt him. One long monologue and a cool boss fight later, Spider-Man breaks free and stops the tank. But Martin Lee gets away with the Devil's Breath. When Spider-Man tracks down the abandoned vehicle, he tries to get in touch with MJ, who doesn't pick up his call. We transition over to MJ ignoring his call, and she is following through on Standish's hint that she wouldn't tell Peter about. And of course, Martin Lee shows up, wanting a device on display. The demons hold everyone there hostage until Spider-Man shows up and starts hanging Christmas ornaments everywhere. With the demons distracted, MJ defuses the bomb thingy, allowing Spider-Man to take out all the demons and fight Martin on a subway. After electrocuting Martin and stopping the train on the road, Martin Lee is arrested and Devil's Breath is secured. Peter then proceeds to show how much of a smooth talker he is.
No, not that kind of over!
Back at the lab, Peter runs into an overjoyous Otto and his signature Doc Ock arms. When Peter points out the dangers and possible side effects, Otto loses his shit. After regaining his composure, Otto apologizes and shoos Peter off. He then turns the implant back on and we see how unstable he truly is. Later, Peter and Aunt May see that the Devil's Breath has been stolen. Again. And Peter shows that he's not Spider-Man. He is in fact Batman.
Peter?
At the scene of the crash, Yuri tells Spider-Man that there's been a prison break at Rikers, and for some reason, the prison was stocking rocket launchers. Because the American Prison Industrial Complex or something. I don't know. An explosion on the raft draws Spider-Man and Yuri towards the Supermax prison, and Electro shoots them down. The two are fine, and Spider-Man chases Electro through the prison. While chasing him up an elevator shaft, my smooth bird brain makes an appearance. Electro, where'd your bitch ass go? Oh. I'm about to say, where the fuck did he go? Can I get through the... Did I just soft lock? But, after I got onto the roof, Spider-Man was jumped by 5. No, 6 of his rogues, who kicked his ass. This gives me my next achievement, and several broken bones for Peter. Soon after, Otto releases Devil's Breath on the city, causing an epidemic. The city goes into quarantine, and Spider-Man is blamed because, obviously, Yuri informs Spider-Man that both Midtown police stations are under attack by Rhino and Electro. Spider-Man secures the station Electro is attacking with no issues whatsoever. What? Like I said, no issues whatsoever. At the other police station, Rhino tears through some police barricades so the Rikers escapees can get into the building. Of course, securing this building can't go smoothly as Sable agents start attacking Spider-Man. Whoa, Silver Sable! After mowing through both Sable and the convicts, Spider-Man makes his way to the sister site, which was set on fire. Miles ends up saving Spider-Man, and everyone gets out alive. Later, Spider-Man tracks down Otto's staging grounds for the attack, finding a map with tasks Otto gave each supervillain. Otto then promptly blows the place up. Spider-Man escapes, though, and is caught by the Vulture, and brought to Electro for another fight. After beating the two of them and having a chat with Otto, Peter is exhausted and passes out. But, with that done, another achievement is mine. There we go! At the Central Park Reservoir, Spider-Man runs into Scorpion, who's trying to poison the city's water supply. Or so we believe. After poisoning Spider-Man, Scorpion fucks off, and Peter goes through one hell of a trip. Holy Scorpion tail, Batman! He does manage to make a cure to the poison, and wakes up with just his mask and boxers on. With the help of Miles, Spider-Man figures out what Rhino was going after, and tracks him down. Spider-Man throws a massive concrete pipe at Rhino, and the fight is on. 1v1 would be too unfair, so Scorpion joins the fight to even the odds. Spider-Man managed to beat the both of them by locking them in a shipping container, giving them my next achievement. Yes! Trying to find the lab that is making the anti-serum, MJ sneaks into Norman's penthouse. She also learns that her dear friend Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn's son, is not on a European vacation, but is getting treatment for an advanced genetic disorder. This genetic disorder is also the one that killed his mom. In the apartment lab, MJ sees spiders that Norman was experimenting on, which are similar to the spiders that gave Peter his powers. MJ learned that Devil's Breath was made as a cure for genetic disorders, most likely for her son. She also finds the location of the anti-serum lab. Before leaving, she pokes around the lab computers and finds an older experiment, the Martin Lee incident, which turned Martin into Mr. Negative and made Otto realize how unethical Norman was, shattering their friendship, making him leave Oscorp. Of course, somewhere there has to be a problem, as MJ knocks over a spider enclosure, shattering it on the ground, and Sablanova comes in to check on the noise. MJ gets caught again trying to escape and has to jump off the building to let Spider-Man catch her. Peter then makes his way to the anti-serum lab to make sure it's secure, but at the lab, Norman is being dragged inside by the demons. Seb Lanova does finally decide to cooperate with Spider-Man, allowing him to get inside and chase after Lee. Spider-Man tries to talk Martin down, but he won't listen. He stops Martin from killing Osborn, setting off one hell of a battle. Spider-Man comes out on top though, beating Mr. Negative, earning me another achievement, which is missing its image. Oh, I lost internet. Great. But Otto shows up, abducts Norman, steals the anti-serum, and leaves Spider-Man battered and bruised. Spider-Man gets about 5 minutes of rest before storming off to confront his former boss. At the lab, Spider-Man makes a new suit with the same material Otto used to make his arms. Equipped with this upgraded suit, he tracks down Otto and catches Norman after he was tossed off the roof. The two begin to fight when Otto tells Spider-Man that he knows he is Peter. Enraged, Peter proceeds to kick Otto's ass. Beating Otto and taking the anti-serum, Peter finally gives up on saving him. Getting back to Feast, Peter has to make an impossible decision. Save Aunt May, or save everyone else. Unfortunately, Aunt May dies seconds later, continuing the trend that Spider-Man's life is pure suffering. After a few cutscenes ending the story, setting up the next game, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered on Spectacular difficulty is complete. With the main game complete, New Game Plus and Ultimate difficulty are unlocked, which is great, because both are required for more achievements. So, let's move on to New Game Plus on Ultimate difficulty. Before moving on to the next game, I should also mention that while I was completing the story, I also earned Spider-Man About Town and Science for the Win that I totally forgot about for some reason. This playthrough is similar to the last one, so let's get through this main story. After Fisk, Shocker, Sinister Six, Vulture, Electro, Rhino, Scorpion, Mr. Negative, and Doc Ock, I got rewarded with 2 more achievements. While I was beating the main story, I did pick up Grinding All the Way, a bit of a fixer-upper, and Hug It Out as well. Next comes the long part. I have to collect everything on the map and stop all crime that pops up. While these were quite tedious, it was really cool to just solely have to swing around Manhattan and be Spider-Man. I collected all the backpacks, giving me Backpacker, yay, and somehow got myself stuck in a pillar.
Where are those escapees going now? To your neighborhood!
Am I in a pillar? I fucking pillar.
Robbing, eating, looting.
I then took loads of pictures of iconic locations all around the island, giving me the sightseeing achievement. I bought all the suits, getting me another achievement. I also did all the secret photo ops, earning me a suit, which apparently doesn't contribute to the all suits achievement, but whatever. I beat all of the Fisk hideouts, demon warehouses, Sable outposts, and prisoner camps, earning 4 more achievements. While I was taking them down, I was focusing on 2 achievements which I wasn't really confident I would be able to get, but I did it. So many hits, and the untouchable Spider-Man are mine. I completed all of the research stations, ending it off with one hell of a bang, then found all of the Black Cat stakeouts and tracked down Black Cat's staging location, which ended up being a diversion so she could steal her old suit and gear from the police. I tracked down and returned all of Howard's pigeons, getting the Pigeon Hunter achievement, beat all of the Taskmaster challenges, earning 3 achievements in total. And I totally didn't lose the first time he showed up. What? After running into him again, I was a little bit more prepared and beat him. Then finished all the side missions around the island, earning 3 more achievements, one of which was bringing Tombstone down. I quickly realized that I should have completed all the district crimes during the main story, but here we are.
Oh what? It's not fun getting beat up?
So, after fighting through way too many people and clearing the city of thug crimes, demon crimes, Riker escapees, and Sable mercenaries, I finally got I Heart Manhattan.
Wish I could clone myself.
That took way too long. But that unlocked my last base game suit, Undies, showing off Peter's amazing physique. This long slog through Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered has left me with a total of 57 achievements. Wait, 57? How did I forget these? Somehow I forgot to put in Superior Spider-Man, Overdrive, and Full Arsenal. All that's left are the 3 DLCs. The heist starts with MJ giving Spider-Man a tip about the Magia, which is the mob in Spider-Man's New York City. MJ tells him that she heard rumors about a painting that is going to be stolen tonight, and suggests Spider-Man should keep an eye on it. While checking out the painting, some SUVs come crashing through the front door, setting off the museum's security system, closing the painting in bulletproof glass. After beating up some goons, the painting seems secure, until a hole appears in the ceiling, and Black Cat drops in. After some relentless flirting from Black Cat, she breaks the painting and takes a flash drive that was hidden inside it. While Spider-Man is distracted saving some goons, Black Cat escapes, unlocking me the first achievement of the heist. There it is. While on patrol, Spider-Man gets a call from a mustached detective who wants some help with an old case that he worked on. Detective Mackey wants help finding all of the missing paintings that the original Black Cat stole, who happens to be the current Black Cat's father, which Spider-Man successfully finds all throughout the city hidden in various building utilities. Detective Mackey was grateful, but left off with an unusual statement that confused Spider-Man. So, back at the precinct, we learn that there's never been a Detective Mackey. The mustached detective was Walter Hardy, the original Black Cat, and conned Spider-Man into securing his old stashes so he could come back and steal them later, getting me my next achievement. Back in the hunt for the current Black Cat, Spider-Man does some Batman-level interrogation and tracks her down, where he learns that Hammerhead, the Magia boss the Black Cat is working for, abducted her son and is forcing her to steal these data drives. That freaks Spider-Man out, as that could be his son, as Peter and Black Cat dated at one point. Spider-Man is unable to stop another data drive from falling to Black Cat, but MJ does figure out what could be on those drives, a joint account between all the Magia crime families. When Spider-Man finds Black Cat stealing the final drive, he tries to convince her to let him help. Black Cat gets way too many hits in and tries to escape on the subway, but Spider-Man won't let up. After catching Black Cat and talking to her, she decides to let him help. Black Cat swings away, earning the next achievement. Spider-Man takes a pizza break while MJ does some dumb shit to uncover secrets about Hammerhead. And MJ has the gall to be upset that Peter took a minute to eat. Right after, Black Cat calls and needs Spider-Man to rush over to help her. When he gets there, they beat the shit out of some Hammerhead goons and uncover secrets. The pair learns that her son is being held in a vault, but there is no location to said vault. So after some flirting, Black Cat leaves, because a flustered Spider-Man is a controllable Spider-Man. MJ ended up finding a shipyard that might have the vault at it. So, Spider-Man calls Black Cat and tells her. At the shipyard, Black Cat and Spider-Man expertly take down all of the Hammerhead goons in their way. The two then split up and search the shipyard. All's going well until some stolen armored SUVs from Sable International roll up. Spider-Man beats everyone and makes his way to the shipping office that Black Cat was searching through. And of course, Black Cat used Spider-Man to get all the Magia drives, so she could disappear, locking Spider-Man in the vault. Oh, and her son? Not real. She doesn't have a son. Like I said, a flustered Spider-Man is control of Spider-Man. This man really got played by both Black Cats. Fuck. Hammerhead, though, was prepared and left a tracker on the drive, and had Black Cat's apartment rigged to explode. Of course, Spider-Man, being the do-gooder that he is, tries to stop Black Cat from entering her apartment, but ultimately fails, and Black Cat gives Spider-Man a smirk and a final farewell. One sweet dinner between Peter and MJ later, that is the conclusion of the heist, unlocking another achievement. While I was flirting with a wanted international art thief, though, I did beat all of the Magia crime that popped up throughout the city, and beat all of the challenges of a second-rate Taskmaster wannabe, Screwball, netting the achievement for beating them, and the achievement for 100%ing the heist, ending this ride with 7 new achievements. The turf war starts with Spider-Man on police squad trying to catch Hammerhead. Spider-Man is tasked with being a diversion so Yuri and her team can go into Hammerhead's base and arrest him. Spider-Man does a splendid job, and Yuri's team, not so well. Yuri ends up being the only survivor of her squad, and Hammerhead escapes. With that, I unlock the next achievement. Spider-Man convinces Yuri to bench herself and take some time for her mental health. Then, because he overheard the Hammerhead goons talking about a bar with no name, he heads there. Instead of going in himself, Spider-Man decides to send a spider bot. After getting lost for a split second, I learned that all the Dons are hiding out together in an attempt to keep Hammerhead away. When Spider-Man finds out their hideout location, he makes his way to stop Hammerhead's men from taking the Dons. He also informs MJ about some Hammerhead friends that he found for her article, and she roasts him for being poor.
You have no money to bet.
That was so uncalled for, MJ. At the theater the Dons are holed up at, all seems well, until Sable's subterranean traversal thingies pop out of the ground, and a shit ton of Hammerhead goons come out of them. With the goons out of commission, Spider-Man makes his way into the theater, and no one's there, except for a massive hole from one of those dig boys. Yuri is understandably upset and takes lead again. Later, Yuri calls with a plan. The NYPD is transporting some leftover Sable tech, and she wants Spider-Man to protect them. He successfully protects the convoys, but Hammerhead used them as a diversion so he could hit the police precinct directly. At the precinct, Hammerhead was targeting a Project Olympus. Yuri is understandably pissed and went AWOL so she could hunt Hammerhead down, giving me the next achievement I needed. Watching the police radio, Spider-Man hears that the bar with no name was hit. When he gets there, he finds it in shambles, fearing that it was Yuri who shot it up. He tracks down some leads and learns where Hammerhead and the other Dons are. This will be the end of the 4 other Magia Dons and the Magia consolidation under Hammerhead. At the construction site, Hammerhead monologues and tries to bury the other Dons in cement. I successfully stop the cement mixer on my first try and then make my way up to Hammerhead. At the top, Hammerhead is babbling on in a fucking mech suit. Spider-Man still beats him though, when Yuri makes her appearance and kills Hammerhead, showing the metal plate in his skull that earned him his moniker. As Hammerhead is being taken away by the medical examiner, the police officer on duty knocks out the EMT and revives Hammerhead. setting up Silver Lining and completing the main story of Turf Wars, earning me an achievement. With that over, I am left with clearing the districts. The first one I tackled was the Hammerhead fronts, which was surprisingly difficult, but gave me the achievement I needed. Here, I also learned about Yuri's history with the Magia and why this case is so hard on her. The next thing to do is beat some people up and clear all the district crimes. This wasn't too difficult, giving me another achievement. Finally, Screwball made another appearance, bugging the shit out of Spider-Man, making him beat even more challenges. Beating them did give me the final 2 achievements though, so it balances out. With that, Turf Wars and its 7 achievements are complete. Starting with a call from MJ, who uncovered more information about Project Olympus and the bloody civil war in Symkaria, Spider-Man makes his way to an Oscorp production facility which is being attacked by Hammerhead goons and Mexis, which, as it turns out, is Project Olympus. Spider-Man fights through a few waves of people, and of course, nothing can go smoothly as a jetpack guy shows up and flies off with police officers. Though they are the coolest concept for enemies, I just hate fighting them. After beating up some goons, all that I'm left with is the one that flew off with the cop. Sablanova then shows up, ready to kill and unwilling to talk. Pin the jetpack guy and save the cop from falling, but Sablanova won't cooperate and we fight. Spider-Man gets thrown around for a while until the jetpack guy gets free and Sablanova chases after him, getting me the first Silver Lining achievement. While Spider-Man was swinging around talking to MJ, Screwball interrupts, letting me know that she set up even more challenges around the city, which, getting spectacular on all of them, gets me the second to last Screwball achievement. But completing all of them did help me track her down. With the help of Miles, Spider-Man was able to find the party Screwball setup and finally catch the psychotic Stramer, finishing off the Screwball saga with another achievement. MJ then alerted Spider-Man about an Oscorp shipping facility that Hammerhead's men are attacking. When he gets to the shipyard, the men are loading things in the back of some trucks. The goons try to drive away, but Spider-Man is on their heels. The chase is going well until Sablanova shows up in her hover thingy and starts shooting the trucks. The goons respond by letting off some drones to try to shoot down the hover thingy. After taking down last of the drones, all that's left is the last truck. Spider-Man spent a solid 30 seconds on the roof of the truck, so Sablanova shoots it, stopping it in its tracks and on the sidewalk. Spider-Man then stops her from killing the driver, and the two decide to work together. The police scanner alerts Spider-Man to an assault in progress that he goes to check out. There, Spider-Man finds a Sable agent being kicked by some goons, so he interrupts and beats all the goons. The Sable agent, David Obademi, informs Spider-Man that Hammerhead has been stealing humanitarian supplies meant for Symkaria, and Spider-Man tells David that he will track down the supplies for him. These supplies were being stored underground in abandoned subway terminals, but after securing all the supplies, David can make sure they make their way to Symkaria, and I have my achievement. Yay! Back on the hunt for Hammerhead, MJ tells Spider-Man that she might have a way to find where Hammerhead's staging grounds are. Spider-Man ends up tracking down a head goon so they can talk. The talk was going well until Sablanova shows up and ruined it, but the head goon did give her a location. She left flying to take down Hammerhead. Surprising no one, this was a trap and Spider-Man had to save her. The two then worked really well together until Hammerhead showed up. Missing a body and is just a head on a mech body with big-ass hands though. Sablanova and Spider-Man are unable to beat this new and improved Hammerhead, so Black Cat had to come back from the dead and save Spider-Man, while leaving Sablanova to be dragged away by Hammerhead. Before she left, Black Cat handed over a data drive to help take down this monstrosity. Using this information Black Cat gave Spider-Man, he was able to track down Hammerhead's staging location. After beating up some goons and crawling through a tunnel filled with body bags, we find Sablanova. Spider-Man frees her, and she takes out the goon that was torturing her. After fighting through way too many people, the pair make their plan on how to defeat the monster that Hammerhead became. Spider-Man meets Sablanova at a pier so she can take him to her base. This base, a cloaked ship floating in the harbor. The two then make their plan to beat Hammerhead by shooting a laser at his head, trying not to scramble his brain along the way. With the whole of New York knowing this floating fortress is in the harbor, Hammerhead shows up in no time flat. The plan is going well until the laser shorts out, so Sablanova crashes the hover plane into him, and Hammerhead somehow survived. As Sablanova is leaving for Symkaria, she shows a new level of respect for Spider-Man. With that, Silver Lining ends off with an homage to Stan Lee and a cutscene promoting the next Spider-Man game, completing the main storyline and giving me another achievement. All that's left is to clean up the rest of the city. Earlier in the story, Spider-Man ran into police tape and a recreated murder scene with a tape recording. These crime scenes, strewn throughout the city, chronicled a therapist talking with a Magia enforcer. This enforcer wanted the therapist to help with the murder of Yuri Watanabe. Though, as it turns out, the therapist is a police plant and is working with Yuri to catch the Magia enforcer. The enforcer finds out the ploy and kills the therapist, so Yuri kills the enforcer, leaving him for Spider-Man to find. After Spider-Man and Yuri talk, that gives me the final 2 achievements needed to complete Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. Oh, that was so fun. 78 total achievements and almost 50 hours of joy. This was my first attempt at this, and Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered was a great game to choose. The game wasn't too hard, but it also wasn't too easy either. So, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.